Welcome back to This Mindful Life. I'm Michelle Marshall. So, this is a hard topic. What do you do when faced with the dark feelings, the sad emotions, the heavy feelings? How do you nurture yourself in those situations? How do you allow yourself to feel it and acknowledge it? Do you allow yourself to feel it and acknowledge it? While also understanding what it is you might need that only you can give yourself in a healthy way. We have a sense in our society that I like to call, and I'm probably not the only one that calls it this, toxic happiness, where we feel like we should always feel happy. We should always be happy. Everything in our lives should be about striving to be happy. And I disagree. I disagree because I don't think it's healthy to push away heavy feelings. I don't think it's healthy to tell people or to make people feel like when they are having heavy feelings and when they're sad or depressed, feeling isolated, I don't think it's healthy to make people feel like there's something wrong with them because they're feeling that way. I also understand that it can be important to really understand that when we're facing it in ourselves so that we know when it is that we need to feel it and explore it within ourselves. And we need to know when is the right time to get help for it. And I feel like these feelings, these heavy feelings, the negative feelings, I actually don't think that they're negative necessarily, but the ones that don't make us feel so great, I feel like a lot of times those feelings come from a sense of being separated and being isolated, feeling alone, feeling really disconnected. It's really about this feeling of sense of disconnection, which is an illusion, right? Because we aren't disconnected in any way. We feel like we are. And a lot of it I think comes from the structure of the way our lives are structured now. We're all in our, little apartments or houses by ourselves. And, we don't have maybe people around us all the time that we're really connected to, that we feel very comfortable just being ourselves with. Sometimes maybe we feel like we don't even have, with work from home and all of that, maybe people are feeling even more isolated because they're not interacting on a daily basis with just people that they don't necessarily know. But, it still makes you feel like part of a community. And when I'm walking around the neighborhood, I talk to everybody. I often say I'm going to be one of those like crazy old ladies who's always talking to everybody. Hey, how's your day? And like getting into some conversation. And this happened yesterday. I was walking my dog and I got into a conversation with a guy who was just walking down the street. He was walking from this construction site that's across the street from my house. The house is being built. And we just, started talking about the dogs. And I didn't know him. I had never seen him before. The conversation was so nice. It really made me feel grateful that I had gotten out of the house and walked, and the day was beautiful. The air was unusually clean for Dallas. And it was just really uplifting. It wasn't a significant conversation by a lot of measures, but it was a human interaction. And he had such a soft and kind of sweet nature about him, the man, that it really just made me smile, and it lifted my heart. And lifted my spirits just a little bit for that day. And that's the sort of, human interaction, I think, that's really important. There's the casual everyday, where you find one thing to connect over with somebody you may never see again. You may have nothing else in common with, you don't know. But, acknowledging each other and finding something to talk about. And I will admit that I had had a rough day that morning. I woke up, I was not feeling great. I was feeling really, really sad. I didn't want to get out of bed. And just after having that interaction with him, I felt better. Continued the walk. I went to a cafe and talked to some people there that I don't know, perfect strangers, also centering around dogs now that I think about it. So maybe the answer is get a dog. But that human connection is so important. Getting out, finding other people. And it wasn't that I was going out to deny the fact that I was feeling sad, deny the fact that I was feeling lonely and isolated. I was not denying it at all. In fact, I walked out of the house carrying it, like I'm dragging it behind me. But I was able to get out and enjoy the day despite those heavy feelings, not denying them, allowing myself to feel them still. And even after the walk, I'm feeling better after having talked to people and, seen the signs of spring in the air, even though it's only February. I felt lighter, even though I still felt a little bit of that sadness. And I explored the sadness too, understanding where it was coming from, but also not letting it take me down too much. So that's the question I have for you today. When you're faced with difficult emotions, sadness, grief, whatever those, and I'm not talking like anger can be that too, but I'm talking about more emotions that kind of make you feel sad and kind of drag you down a bit, put you in a little bit of a slump. When you're faced with those things, what do you do with them? What do you do with those feelings? For me, yesterday I went for a walk, lifted me enough that I could, not just sink into the sadness. Sometimes I write. Sometimes I do these videos, and teaching is a way of lifting that because it takes me out of myself, allows me to give back to a community that I have benefited so much from. So that's the reflection today. What do you do when faced with the dark feelings, the sad emotions, the heavy feelings? How do you nurture yourself in those situations? How do you allow yourself to feel it and acknowledge it? Do you allow yourself to feel it and acknowledge it? While also understanding what it is you might need that only you can give yourself in a healthy way. I'd like to hear from you. We're a community. And if you are in a situation where you are feeling overwhelmed by the heaviness, dragged down maybe to an unsafe level by the seriousness of the feelings, then reach out to somebody, reach out to me, reach out to a friend, a family member that you can trust, meditation teacher, a spiritual leader, somebody. There's always somebody here. We're all an interconnected community. So let me know. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.